Christopher, get in here, little boy, Mrs. Coleman yelled from her seat at the kitchen table. Her dark brown eyes darted across the page of her son's daily report from school. Yes, Mommy, a soft voice replied from the doorway. 3 timeouts? What did you get 3 timeouts for today? What exactly did you do? Christopher edged into the kitchen, chewing his lower lip as he walked to the table and sat beside his mother. Um, I kept fidgeting and I fell out of my chair and I accidentally slid down the banister because it was taking too long to walk down the stairs and I wanted to get to recess faster to play it with Brian and Dexter. As Christopher squirmed in his chair, his bright, inquisitive brown eyes focused on his mom's mid length hairdo that gently swayed with every tilt of her head. Well, go to your room and sit in the timeout chair since you seem to like timeout so much. It's a nice afternoon to be outside playing with your friends, but don't even think about it. Christopher's Timeouts is about a little boy, a second grader named Christopher Coleman, who is determined to be the class clown around his schoolmates. And so it's all about his journey of learning that playful antics in the classroom can cause consequences if he doesn't learn to behave correctly. Christopher's Timeouts was definitely inspired by my older son, Jordan Christopher Wallace, who was very much like Christopher Coleman when he was in kindergarten. He was wanted to be the class clown. He wanted to make fart noises. He wanted to fall out of his chair, always in inappropriate moments when the teacher was teaching or when there were other activities that were going on for learning purposes. And so Jordan inspired this book because it was so closely related to the things that he was doing that I had to write it down and share with the world. The intended audience for Christopher's Timeouts is children from ages 4 through 8 years old, approximately a little bit younger and a little bit older. And I want them to take away the lesson of learning that using the good sense you were born with is always an important lesson because you have to understand there's a time and a place to be playful and to be serious. And those are life lessons that definitely start when they're younger, but it's something that takes you well into adulthood. I have always known that I wanted to be a writer. I've grown up always being interested in reading, always going to the library, always being exposed to books, being around books. And definitely as the child of a librarian, my mother was always taking my sisters and I to her job, which was one of the most fantastic things that I could ever do. So being around books, being around the library. As a matter of fact, I am sitting here right now in a library in order to gather the comfort, the environment that a library instills in me, and that helps me to just resonate with books and reading and words. And so I've always been inspired. I've always known. And it just took me a little bit to go through the journey of bringing the process around to taking it out of my mind into putting it down, writing it down, and making it a tangible existence. Why not is what I really think about because for me, the story of Christopher's Timeouts just was a natural progression of the antics of my son in real life into the antics that I also witnessed in other kids when I was a substitute teacher in the classroom. So I just felt like with all of those antics, all of those behaviors were good material for showcasing a lesson in a playful way, in a way that resonates with the children, but not beat them over the head with "you must behave," and in a heartwarming way where they can relate to it, they can receive it, and they can use it to their benefit moving forward and using the appropriate behavior whenever they need to. As a first time author, The surprising part for me was the reaction that I've gotten from other people who were also aspiring authors and kept it to themselves until they saw me express it and realized that, okay, here's someone that's relatable to me, and let me pick their brain and see what I can do to bring forth my own writing. And so that was the most surprising thing because I didn't think about that. The most rewarding has been also getting the feedback from aspiring authors, but then also the feedback from not only the children who were my intentional audience, but also the feedback from educators and from the parents who felt like it was a good teaching tool. I didn't go into it, I just wanted to tell a story that I found hilarious based on true life antics. But it was something that was surprising and very fulfilling and helped me to understand that a lot of times when you think something that's in you is only for one purpose, it's actually intended for things that you never even dreamed or imagined until you put one foot forward and took the courage and the steps to bring it to life. The actual writing of Christopher's Timeouts didn't take very long. It happened during my son's kindergarten year in school, is when I first started putting it to paper. Now, taking it from being a manuscript put aside to getting it across the publication finish line took several years because I put it aside. And so from the time he was a little boy until when I wrote it, when I published it, he's a grown man now. So it took a minute to get it done, but the actual writing part didn't take long at all. And every process is different for every writer. For me, it took longer to get to the point of getting it across the publication finish line. The hardest thing was not knowing what to do after I wrote the last sentence. I didn't know very much about how to actually publish. I knew that I wanted to self publish, but I also knew that there were 10 million opportunities, 10 million ways to go. So, paring that down, how to do the research, how to do the copywriting. I wasn't clued into those things. And the illustrations were also a hard part as well because I needed to be able to find the right look for the book. And so I overcame them by trusting God, who put this idea, who put this gift in me, that if I took the first step to get it published, that He would be right there with me. And as soon as I wrote the book and finished the manuscript, then I became aware of a workshop that was conducted by Natalie R. Murphy of the Distinguished Authors Guild, who in her workshop covered all of the questions that I had no answers for: how to copyright, how to determine which self-publisher to use, how to get it edited, how to move forward across the publication line. So I'm thankful for the opportunity, and the book of Christopher's Timeouts is the result of all of that hard work and all of others pouring into me as well. The easiest thing about writing Christopher's Timeouts was the writing. I was an English major. I've always loved to read, loved to write. And so for me to put it on paper was, it just flowed because I knew how I wanted to say it. I knew what I wanted to say. And so that was something that I don't take for granted though, because I do enjoy it, but I also understand that it's a responsibility when you're sharing stories and when you're trying to be relatable to do it in a way that people can understand the meaning that you're trying to bring forth. The most exciting part was when I finally accepted that I'm going to do this. That meant that I pushed aside any type of doubt in my mind and I walked forward with confidence. And after that, I knew that this was going to be a game changer for me because I was doing something that I always wanted to do, that I always knew that I needed to do, but I'm actually walking in it now. And so that excitement came from every word that passed the edit test. Like once I knew that it was time to move to the publication aspect of it. That this is really coming to life. It's not just a thought, it's not just an idea anymore. This is tangible. This is something that I can share with others outside of my brain. I've put it on paper. And so that excitement doesn't get old. Seeing my book in a public library, that's exciting for me. Again, someone who grew up going to the library and couldn't wait to see what books are there. And that excitement doesn't get old. And I'm thankful that I was obedient to what I was being led to do in order to experience that type of excitement, which I didn't even look forward to. I didn't even know that it could exist that way. So I'm thankful for it. And I look forward to maintaining that excitement as we move forward into my writing journey. So, the process of publishing a book is extremely important because it lends itself to how it's going to be received by your intended audience. Everything from the illustrations to the editing, all of that, putting it together is very important. It's important to find the right illustrator, to find the right editor, which I did, even though I edit for a living and that's what my professional background is in. I still hired someone else to make sure that they would catch those things that I would not be able to catch because I'm so close to the story. And so all of that coming together, the end result is a polished piece that you are very proud of, that I'm very proud of, the representation of me and what I'm trying to share with the world. You have to be, it has to be professional, it has to be polished in order to be taken seriously, in order for people to want to engage with your book based on the illustrations. That's what it's for, because the especially for a children's book, the cover is what's going to really pique interest, what they see visually first. That's what draws the little kids in, that's what draws their parents in to help support what their kids are wanting to read. And so all of those things were going on in my mind as I knew how I wanted to put my story together from beginning to end, beyond the actual writing part of it. Writing this book has definitely given me more confidence as a person and as a writer. It helped me understand that my capabilities, my gift for writing is valid, and that I understand that it's time to move forward and do more. And so it's given me that understanding of not being fearful and to walk in what I'm meant to walk in because it's going to be successful because it was meant to be. Wow. So my support system is amazing. Actually, I spelled it out in the book in my acknowledgement. So I'm just going to take a minute to just look through that and let you know. Starting with my late parents, David and Ernestine Verser. They never stopped nurturing my love for reading and writing, and they encouraged me along the way throughout childhood, even when I went to college. When I majored in English, that was not a surprise to them. They totally supported because they understood and encouraged the gift that I have in me. To my husband Jared, who also believed in my ability to write, and he encouraged me to write Christopher's Timeouts from the time when I got laid off. And he told me that maybe God put me in timeout because he wanted me to finish Christopher's Timeout and share it with the world. My children, Jordan, Christopher Wallace, Clarissa, Joshua, for giving me plenty of those funny moments that also contributed to the book. To my sisters, Anita, Felicia, to my extended family who bought many copies of the book when I first published it. I'm forever grateful for that. And also to the Distinguished Authors Guild, who has helped me to learn how to market more effectively and efficiently, to understand that writing a book is a bigger part of a bigger platform that I need to tap into for myself. So my support system is large, it's expanded, and I'm thoroughly thankful for it, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm so excited to say that the real Christopher was very, very supportive of me writing this book, Christopher's Timeouts, based on his playful antics when he was in kindergarten. He loved it, even though he didn't remember going through some of those stages in his early childhood development. He thought it was a fun idea, he thought it was a great idea, and he was very excited to help participate in the process. He helped choose the images for the story. He helped edit it. He helped contribute different word choices throughout the process, just from his mindset as a young man who was growing up and dealing with, how to behave in the classroom. So I'm thankful again, like I said, to say that he was very supportive. And that goes to resonate how others, even as an adult, he saw the value in sharing this story with all ages here and there. My advice for authors in general is to do it. Don't let any self doubt, don't let any type of voice, any type of negative voice in your head telling you that you can't do it, erase that, move forward, ignore it. If you're compelled to write it, someone is going to be compelled to read it because it's in you to share. It's not just for yourself. So I would say move forward with it because you have something in you that only you can share. And to people who are trying to write specifically for children, I would say the same thing. Tap into it, know your audience, know what age group you want to write for, because preschoolers, that age group is different from middle schoolers and from even young adults. So just know your audience, know what you have to say, and be true to that. And don't try to be any type of writer other than who you are, because again, your gift and your audience is waiting for you. Definitely, the world has spoken. Christopher's audience has made it known that they want to see what else he gets into. What other lessons does he have to learn? What is he doing right now? So, all I can say to that is stay tuned.